So Nothing sub-brand CMF have been busy this year, and we're about to get into what could possibly be the best budget ecosystem of 2024. There's a CMF Phone 1, Watch Pro 2, and Buds Pro 2, and all of their boxes have a playful yet elegant look, unlike the boring packaging we're used to from other brands. In their boxes, you'll of course find the devices themselves along with their respective charging cables. The Buds come with some extra tips, and the phone comes with an orange SIM ejector tool. The Watch Pro 2 comes in at €69, the Buds Pro 2 at €59, and the CMF Phone 1 starts at €239 for the 8GB RAM variant. India is the only place where you can find the 6GB RAM version, and that's priced at just 15,999 Indian rupees. So if you buy all three in Europe, you're looking at just €367, which is less than half the price as the base Pixel 9. And with this, you'd be getting a watch, buds, and a phone. We'll get to the buds and phone later, but for now, let's focus up on the CMF Watch Pro 2. The Watch Pro 2 literally mimics the phone's design. It has a simplistic yet elegant look, and I really like how the watch's aluminum body almost matches the phone's camera frame. I've worn it for a few days now, and my biggest takeaway is how I almost always forget that I'm wearing it. It weighs just 48 grams, and it's more than big enough to see, but small enough not to notice that it's there. Its round nature means it looks more like a normal watch instead of a calculator on your wrist, and it comes in 4 different colors. 2 of them have silicone straps and the others have leather. You can also purchase a bezel and strap set from their website if you'd like to mix and match. This is possible to do since the bezel is interchangeable, which isn't something you'd expect at this price, but is something you'd expect from a company which stands for color, material, finish. And I'm glad they're sticking to this trend. The watch does have waterproofing, but it's only an IP68 certification, meaning that you can dip it in water for up to 1.5 meters deep for 30 minutes, so it might not be the best choice for water sport enthusiasts. It does, however, have an impressive 1.32-inch AMOLED display with 353 pixels per inch, a 60Hz refresh rate, and a solid 620 nits of peak brightness. It also offers an always-on display, which many watches at this price point do without. You can wake the watch up from the always-on display by flicking your wrist or by double tapping the screen. There are plenty always-on display styles to choose from and more than 100 watch faces with customizable options. There's a handful pre-installed, but if you open up the CMF Watch app on your phone, there are endless choices. There's loads of things you can do within the app, and one of the Nothing widgets can help you keep track of your watch's battery life. Speaking of battery, it has a 305 mAh capacity, which is said to last up to 9 days with heavy use. I've only worn it for a few days, but it barely drops by 10% a day, even when I wear it to bed. It takes around an hour and a half to fully charge up, and once you have it up and running, it feels very smooth and snappy when using the interface. There's a functional crown too, which allows you to open up your app list and scroll around with ease. The software is in line with Nothing OS in terms of its simple design, color aesthetics, and customizable widgets, which gives you so many options to tailor-make your software experience to your own unique personalized style. It's also a full-on health and fitness tracker with things like sleep, heart rate, and blood oxygen tracking. It offers more than 120 different sport modes with automatic workout detection, and all of its fitness data can sync up with your other health apps such as Apple Health. It also has a built-in GPS system, and the cherry on top is that it has a speaker, a microphone, and Bluetooth so that you can make Bluetooth calls with AI noise reduction. The Buds Pro 2 also stick to the CMF theme design, with the case matching the color scheme of the watch and the phone, and they come in 4 different color options. Everything here is plastic, including the buds themselves, but the whole package just feels solid. And the buds are comfortable to wear thanks to their ergonomic and lightweight design. The case has a 460 mAh battery, and each bud has 60 mAh. With active noise cancellation off, you'll get 43 hours of use with the case and 11 hours with the buds only. With ANC on, that drops to 26 hours and 6.5 hours respectively. They magnetically clip into their case, and a 10-minute charge will give you up to 7 hours of use with the case and 3 hours with the buds only, when ANC is off. With ANC on, the same charge will give you up to 6 hours and 1.8 hours respectively. They also have an IP55 certification, but the most important thing about them is that they sound really, really good. And that's because they have an 11mm driver with titanium coating for punchy bass, as well as a 6mm tweeter for crystal clear treble. I wish I could demonstrate how good they actually sound, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it when I say they sound better than most buds I've tried that cost twice the price. They support high-res audio thanks to LDAC technology and Dirac Optio. There's Ultra Bass Tech 2.0 and even spatial audio. And yes, all of this can be customized within the Nothing X app on your home screen. There's also a widget for them which you can add to the home screen of your phone for easy access. They also offer incredible active noise cancellation of up to 50 decibels, and there's a few modes you can change up in the app. You can turn ANC off, switch to transparency mode so you can hear your surroundings thanks to their 6 high-definition microphones, which are also good for calls, or you can enable and customize full noise cancellation. This can also be adjusted by using gestures on the buds themselves. You can customize these gestures within the app, and yes, you can actually adjust the volume using the buds. But within the app, you'll notice that you can also change the controls on the case, and that's because the smart dial is more than just for aesthetics. With this, you can also control your buds when they're in your ears. It works phenomenally well, and yes, you can rotate the dial to adjust volume, which is a major bonus. This smart dial is actually an industry first, and it's crazy how well it works considering it's the first of its kind. Like I mentioned earlier, the brand CMF stands for Color, Material, Finish, which leads us to think it's all about the design. Which it is, but there's a lot more to it than just what it looks like out the box. It comes in 4 different colors, and it too has a simplistic design with a stealthy look about it. But if you look closely, you'll notice a dial which looks similar to the Buds dial. The company calls this the accessory point. It can unscrew and make way for a phone stand or a lanyard. This is the first thing you can do with its modular design. If you look even closer, you'll see 4 stainless steel screws. Remove 3 of them and you can attach a card holder, and the base of the card holder has a strong magnet, which means you can use MagSafe accessories with it. If you remove the 4th screw, you can completely remove the backplate and see a few of the internals. But more importantly, you can switch it out for other colorful backplates they have listed on their website. You also get a screwdriver tool bundled with any backplate you purchase. The fact that you can get a new backplate means that you don't have to use a case at all, and if it scratches over time, you could just buy a new back. When the back is off, I noticed that the plastic case doesn't exactly feel strong. However, when it's on the phone, it feels just as premium as any other phone at this price. A nice bonus is that the frame around the camera is made of metal. And even though this is a budget device, we're still treated to an IP certification, that being IP52, which might only keep out a bit of dust and water, but at this price I wasn't expecting IP protection at all. Speaking of price, it's actually crazy how they managed to include a flagship level display on this guy. It's a 6.67-inch AMOLED screen with Full HD resolution, a 120Hz screen refresh rate, and a very impressive 2000 nits of peak brightness. The CMF Phone 1 also has a glance display, which is pretty much an always-on display, but you can customize it with widgets. And somehow they managed to squeeze in an optical under-display fingerprint sensor too. This is also the cheapest way you can get your hands on Nothing's fantastic software skin, which is layered over Android 14. And it's not just some spin-off software, it's fully fledged Nothing OS 2.6, which will soon be updated to Nothing OS 3 over Android 15, thanks to the CMF Phone 1 getting 2 years of major Android updates and 3 years of security updates. This is the first device I've used with Nothing OS, and I have to say, it's very enjoyable to use. It's close to stock Android, but with a layer of customization I'd actually use. The settings menu is very stock-like, and so is the way you can customize your phone. But if you long hold on the home screen, you'll find a fleet of Nothing widgets. They don't only look cool, but they're actually useful due to how you can interact with them. Icons can be color matched, folders can be customized and enlarged, and all other Nothing OS features are bundled in. Of course, all of Google's goodies are also routed into the phone, and Gemini Live works just as well as on any other phone. So you might think with everything this phone has going for it that they might skimp out on battery and performance. Well, yes and no. At this price point, you wouldn't really expect wireless charging, and wired charging is pretty fast at 33 watts. The battery is pretty big though, coming in at 5000 mAh, and it's also powered by a 4nm chipset, which is the MediaTek Dimensity 7300 5G CPU, which clocks in at 2.5 GHz, which is actually more powerful than the Snapdragon 7 Gen 1 CPU, and it feels just as snappy as a flagship when performing daily tasks. They couldn't exactly throw in a flagship chip and still keep the price down, so I'm more than happy with its performance, especially since it managed almost 700,000 points in Antutu. And it also seriously surprised me when playing Genshin Impact on maxed out settings, which is a very demanding game to play on a phone. The CMF Phone 1 managed an average of around 45 FPS while playing with performance mode enabled, which I could monitor thanks to its built-in game mode. And it never felt too hot because another unexpected thing in a budget-friendly device is a liquid cooling system, which somehow CMF managed to pack in here too. Unfortunately, haptic feedback isn't the best and there's no NFC, but of course that card holder allows you to use tap to pay. The good news is that the CMF Phone 1 supports dual SIM 5G and even has an option for an SD card, which can expand your storage up to an extra 2 TB. Another thing to note is that it only has a single down-firing speaker, but it's actually surprisingly loud. CMF's slogan is to make the necessary brilliant, and an ultra-wide camera isn't exactly necessary, which is why they skipped out on it. Instead, they made the main camera brilliant along with its supporting sensors. The main camera is a 50 megapixel Sony IMX882 sensor with a wide f1.8 aperture, but since they only focused on the necessary, there's no optical image stabilization. There is, however, a supporting portrait sensor which aids in depth mapping. There's also 2 different color profiles when taking pics with the main, that being natural and vivid, which uses AI to perfect the shot. The main cam can also zoom up to 10 times, and after having received a few updates, it's actually pretty decent. The depth sensor kicks in when taking a portrait shot with the main, and it's actually crazy how detailed shots come out. Not to mention how fantastic edge detection and depth immersion is. It just sometimes struggles with skin tones. There's also a 16 megapixel selfie, which again battles with skin tone, but it comes out rather detailed, and again, portrait mode exceeded my expectations at this price point. Taking night pics when using the selfie camera also comes out decently, and while the main camera does a decent job at night too, it tends to lose detail when brightening things up with night mode. It should be a crime that 4K video looks this good on such a well-priced device, though it does lack depth and an option for 4K 60 FPS. Though to be honest, I wasn't even expecting 4K video on this phone. And while the selfie camera does not support 4K video recording, it does support 1080p at 60 frames per second, so let me know your thoughts on the video quality as well as the microphone performance. Selfie video is fairly lit up at night too, and while there is a bit of noise grain, it's not the worst I've seen. Main video looks great at night too, and the included night video option eliminates most of the noise grain and brightens up video nicely. Another one of their slogans is to make the essential wonderful, and I feel like they've done just that with this camera system. If they did include an ultra-wide camera here, it would most likely have to be a cheapie, and if it was a cheap one, then I probably wouldn't want to use it anyway. I'd rather have a solid main camera than a budget main camera just to include a budget ultra-wide camera, if that makes sense. So to wrap up, the CMF Phone 1 might lack NFC, but you can use the card holder accessory for tap to pay. It might not have an ultra-wide camera, but its main camera is solid. And it only has a single speaker, but it gets more than loud enough. These are a few shortcomings you just have to accept considering you get so much for its price, such as a modular design, a flagship display, incredible software, a large battery, 5G connectivity, expandable storage, and wonderful performance. I can't really fault the Buds Pro 2. The materials are plastic but feel premium, the case is a game changer thanks to its innovative smart dial, and their audio quality is unexpectedly brilliant. And while the Watch Pro 2 might lack serious waterproofing for water sports, that's about it. It's simple, modular, has a stunning screen, an always-on display, a built-in GPS, and offers all the health and fitness tracking you could want from a smartwatch. Color schemes are matched, materials feel premium, and finish, well, they're all pretty much complete packages. These are probably the easiest devices I could recommend to anyone on a budget that's looking for a complete ecosystem, or for any of you that are just sick and tired of paying such an expensive price for the same thing. Be sure to check out the link down below if you'd like to purchase any of these devices for yourself or for someone else as a Christmas gift. You'd also be helping out my channel if you use my link down below. As always, this is TechNick, and I'll catch you in the next one.